Walt Whitman, also known as the Bard of Democracy, is one of America's most influential poets. Whether you see him referenced in car ads or in pop culture TV shows, Whitman is everywhere. Being such a present and prominent person, Whitman's poetry and life have long since been investigated. Since his poems are seen as controversial due to his openness about the body and sex, scholars have used his poetry as clues to unfold the mystery of his sexuality. As seen through his poetry, Whitman is unafraid to write about the body and about sex. His poems are often overtly and highly sexual. According to the Whitman Archive, Whitman himself states that his poetry aims to discuss two types of relationships: emotiveness for man to woman love, and adhesiveness for manly love. To Whitman, relationships between people are not only meant to be sexual, but instead are spiritual and nurture the soul. Therefore, through his works, Whitman teaches that the body, regardless of sex, is beautiful. One of Whitman's most sexual poems is Spontaneous Me, in which he describes sexual intercourse with another person using erotic language. In Song of Myself, Whitman explicitly writes about sex and admires both the male and female form. In section 5 of Song of Myself, Whitman recalls a sexual encounter. He states,
I mind how once we lay such, a transparent summer morning, how you settled your head athwart my hips, and gently turned over upon me, and parted the shirt from my bosom bone, and plunged your tongue to my bare-stripped heart, and reached till you felt my beard, and reached till you held my feet.
While the sex of the person described is unclear, Whitman, throughout his poetry, shows he is attracted to both males and females. This could be seen in his poem, I Sing the Body Electric, where Whitman celebrates both the male and female body. He writes that the body of the male is perfect and that of the female is perfect. Even though Whitman writes about both male and female, scholars believe Whitman to be homoerotic rather than homosexual, as his sexual emotions seem to be stronger for men than for women. Even though Whitman writes selective poems to write about the female body, like A Woman Waits for Me or O Hymen or Hymene, Whitman writes an entire selection of poems titled Calamus to writing about manly love. Whitman scholars like Martin G. Murray even believe that Whitman devoted Calamus to his lover Peter Doyle, who was a horse car conductor that Whitman met in Washington. Calamus' poems express Whitman's passion for men. The title itself hints at homoeroticism, as the calamus plant looks like a phallic symbol. In this collection of poems, Whitman expresses a unified view of his love for other men, as he writes about both love and heartbreak, whereas his poem, We Two Boys Clinging Together, expresses an optimistic side of manly love as Whitman rejoices in the company of another man. The poem, Whoever You Are, Holding Me Now in Hand, expresses a more vulnerable side to Whitman. He states,
Whoever you are, holding me now in hand, without one thing, all will be useless. I give you fair warning before you attempt me further. I am not what you suppose, but far different. Therefore, release me now, before troubling yourself any further. Let go your hand from my shoulders. Put me down and depart on your way. I am not what you suppose, but far different.
These selection of poems have been used by scholars to justify his sexuality. However, in trying to narrow Whitman into a box, his appeal of unity is lost, as with labeling comes exclusion. Whitman would believe that sexual labels are simplistic and confining. To define Whitman's sexuality would be to misunderstand all that Whitman stood for. In all, it was Whitman who asked, "What do you call free love? There is no other kind of love, is there?"